Hey, I won't waste your time. Hey, us is where we shine. Teaching Tuesday. It's more than just another day. Teaching Tuesday. Find your answers in this place. Teaching Tuesday. Teaching Tuesday.
Hey, welcome to Teaching Tuesday. I think I need to clean off my screen. Give me 1 second, guys. Or I guess my camera. I'm here. And I've noticed a lot of people have these really like greeny looking effects on their photos, and I'm pretty sure that's not a filter. You need to clean your camera. So for those of you who are tuning in, hey, I am wiping off my screen. Give me 1 second. And I'll be right there. I think we got it. All right. Yes, that looks so much better. So, before I started this live, I was thinking about a few conversations that I've had over the last few weeks, and one which was super poignant about someone that myself and this, well, actually, I don't know this person, but the person I was talking to knows this person. And she said some things about this person that really kind of stuck with me. And it wasn't bad, y'all. It was just basically, analyzing the situation and saying, this person wants all of these things that they don't have. And so because they don't have all of these things, they are willing to do whatever it takes to try to be, dare I say, successful in some shape, sense, or fashion. And before we get into this, and I'm not going to hold you long, but before we get into this, I want to make it very clear. You can absolutely achieve certain types of success without being healed, healthy, whole, clear, blessed, abundant, because again, especially when it comes to financial success, math is math, right? And so if I've said this before, if you acquire X amount of widgets at X amount of dollars, and let's say you sell those widgets and you create a revenue of $1 million, doesn't necessarily make you a millionaire, but you've generated $1 million in revenue. That's math. Doesn't matter if you're healed, healthy, whole, in no contact, if you've got edges, if you don't, none of that matters. It's simple math, right? And another conversation that I was privy to recently was around the reality that oftentimes we don't talk about healing except in the context of women. Now, y'all let me know what you think about that. We don't talk about men's healing like we should. And especially when it comes to business and when it comes to success, we don't talk about, oh, well, if he would just heal himself, he could achieve. So I absolutely believe, because I believe there's different types of success, right? There's different types of successes that we can have in our life, just like I believe there's different types of abundance. There's different types of things. There's different levels of things. There's different dimensions of things, right? That it is important that we understand that there's no healing required for financial success often. Now, there are some exceptions to that, right? There are some definitive exceptions to that, and we're going to get into it. Welcome in. If you're just tuning in, my name is Stephanie D. McKenzie, fractional brand and marketing leader, award-winning marketer, TEDx speaker, and a few other things that I've done, which really don't matter because I'm here for you. And today is How To Tuesday, and today's lesson is how to get right within. I think the philosopher Lauryn Hill says it better. Guys, you better watch out. Some girls are only about that thing. Now, I know that if you know the song, right? The song is doo-wop, that thing. It also says, guys, girls, you better watch out. And I think it's an interesting cautionary tale that many of us need to dial into, because I absolutely took the lyrics for today's How To Tuesday from How You Gonna Win If You Ain't Right Within? Come again? Yo, yo, come again. Come again. Come again. This song is a cautionary tale, right? It's a cautionary tale. And it really goes out to those people who want to win. Winning is subjective, people. Winning is subjective. I've met people, I've worked with people, I've had clients that have multi-million dollar companies. They are, in effect, they are millionaires personally as well as in their business, because they've hit a certain level of income that allows them to, if they're bringing home, let's see, that would be 10 figures, then definitely they've got seven somewhere, at least in theory, right? A lot of times it's make six, bring home five. And I'm real acquainted with that one. Okay. So one of the things that people need to understand is that, people run around here talking about their 6 and 7 figures and whatever. And I'm like, in revenue or in profit? Because if we're being honest, if it's revenue in the business, profitability matters. You could do $1 million in revenue and come out with 200K. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about. I'm here to talk to you about getting right within, so you can win, whatever that means to you. Because a lot of times the success that we want, the types of success that we want, the things, let me not even talk about success. The things that we want often hide from us and elude us. They're eluding themselves from us, not because of a strategy. And as a strategist, I'm like, don't tell them that they don't need a strategy. But being honest, it's not about the strategy. A lot of times it's about the capacity. It's about the seeds that you've sown with other people. How you gonna win if you ain't right within? If you constantly have to tear down other people for you to feel good, your wins are going to be fleeting. I didn't say you won't win. Your wins are going to be fleeting. They're going to be short-lived. And some of you might say, man, I know people, they've been evil their whole lives. Exactly. And they're rich. Exactly. Money is not abundance. Abundance is more than enough everything, including money, including love, including care, including support, including enthusiasm and energy. And I'm never one to vilify people for having means, because I ain't broke. So I'm never going to say, oh my God, eat the rich. I don't say stupid stuff like that, because a lot of people run around vilifying richness, want to be rich. A lot of those vilifying the wealthy want to be wealthy. And I'm like, well, you can't have it both ways. Which team are you on? Are you going to eat them, or are you going to sit at the table with them? Pick a side. And so how you going to win if you ain't right within? I'm going to keep saying that, because again, the philosopher Lauryn Hill has shown us the way, even if she's late these days. But they'll never make me hate you, Lauryn. They'll never make me hate you. How you going to win if you ain't right within? How are you going to have long-term, long-standing, beautiful, non-stressing, scripture says the blessings of the Lord maketh one rich and it adds no sorrow to it, right? Y'all know I got a whole degree in theology. Don't play with me. Okay. I'm just saying, thank you for the laughing face. I love comments. So let me know who you are so I can shout you out, because I can't see it because I'm not on big StreamYard. I'm on little StreamYard on my phone. So I'm just saying, yeah. How do you get to the point where you have those things that aren't bringing in sorrow, the wins that aren't also coming with sorrow, that aren't coming with stress, that aren't coming with strife, that aren't coming with contention, that aren't coming with problems, that aren't coming with sickness, that aren't coming with et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You got to get right within. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean you got to heal? Well, kind of. Some people are just ugly. They ugly on the inside, which makes them even more uglier on the outside, even if they might be physically attractive. Their energy. Hey, look at that demon tuning in from inside the ball. They're ugly. Y'all, they're ugly because their energy is ugly. See, this is about your energy and what you're calling in, because I hate to be the one to break it to you. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. You can't treat people any type of way. And nobody who's watching this is like this. So it's literally me just talking into the void. But you can't treat people any type of way and then expect everything to go your way. I can tell you firsthand, I am the wrong person to mess with. That's not a flex, it's just facts. Because I have noticed throughout my life, when people come at me, right? That's a colloquialism, meaning they come towards me in a wrong or malicious way. And then they come at me, okay? And they do it from a place of malice. Now, inadvertently, we can all mess up, right? You know, Lynette and I have been friends for a really long time. And in relationships like that, sometimes we might speak. I know I have. And I'll be like, oh, girl, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that, you know. And so we catch ourselves. But never would I ever come to her and treat her wrong maliciously. That's not my goal, right? So as humans, inadvertently, in our relationships, we mishandle each other, right? That happens. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those people, and you know who they are. The shady, sketchy, bottom feeding folks that you're aware of, who come at you sideways on purpose. And I can tell you implicitly, for every person that has done that to me, I have been able to sit front and center as I watch their lives shift into a negative, dismal abyss. Did I wish that on them? Nope. Did I want that for them? Nope. Did divine providence take over? Yep. Sorry, not sorry. But sometimes it's not about being a sketchy person, a shady person, or whatever. It's simply about making room within ourselves to experience the things that we want to experience, making room in our hearts to experience a particular type of love, making room in our lives to do a new thing, making room in our minds to think differently, to explore new ideas. How you gonna win if you ain't right within? Well, right is subjective. You know me, at the end of the day, I always say the same thing. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So what do we do? Okay. Well, if you're on the shady, sketchy, leechy side, I'm gonna definitely tell you, and you're saying, man, people tell me I'm self-centered. If you're a Tony Childs, I've been watching a lot of, like, what do I call it? Vintage, vintage television, right? Throwbacks. And if you're a Tony Childs, which is a character in the show Girlfriends, produced by Graham Nett, aka Kelsey Grammer, which was Sex in the City in blackface. Okay, just like Friends is living single in whiteface, but lest I digress. So if you're a Tony Childs, yesterday I was watching an episode of Girlfriends, and Joan, played by Tracy Ellis Ross, Diana Ross's daughter, and the founder of Pattern Hair Care, she tells Tony Childs, which is played by Jill Marie Jones, that she should have never relied on her because she doesn't care about anybody but herself. Listen, let me tell you something. If this is something people have been saying to you for years and you're just like, oh yeah, ha, 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 stop it. That may be the very reason why you don't have the capacity to experience the things that you want to experience, because you're too busy being centered, self-centered, not selfish, but self-centered. Everything revolves around you. It's you, it's you, it's you. Everybody else should make room for you. Well, guess what? If everybody else is making room for you, what are you making room for you? Nothing. You filled every nook and cranny with you, more than likely as a trauma response, more than likely as hypervigilance, more than likely as hyperprotective behavior. See somebody about that. And if they need to write you a prescription, take it. Skittles, as one of my former friends would say. Take your Skittles. Taste the rainbow. Because it's unacceptable at this big age for you to not have capacity to experience anything else but you. Some of y'all know people like this. If you know a Tony Childs, feel free to put Tony in the comments. You don't have to say their name. Don't do that. But if you know a Tony Childs, archetype where everything just revolves around them, just put Tony in the comments. That's what you do about that. On the other side, if you're saying to yourself, gosh, Stephanie, there's things I've wanted. Let's go back 5 years, things I've wanted since 2020. I don't have them. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't grasp it. I don't know. Why? Why don't I have the relationship that I want? Why don't I have the friendships that I want? Why don't I have the career that I want? Why don't I have? Not that you're not pleased, right? Not that you're not happy and satisfied and contented. Not that you're not successful. Two things can be true. You can make six figures and live in sadness. You can make six figures or seven figures and be lonely. Dialectically speaking, two things can be true at the same time. Just because you're successful doesn't mean you're not lonely. Just because you're financially successful doesn't mean that you're not sad. Doesn't mean you don't desire different things. I'm just saying. She's giving me eyeballs. I don't know that y'all can see it. I love it, y'all. Like, can we keep it a buck here? Can we keep it, I like to keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it $1,000,000. These are conversations I've had with myself. These may be conversations you've had with yourself. So what do we have to do? So for me, if I'm going to be honest about what I'm saying here, something, and I said this before, I said this on a live on TikTok. One of the things that I have been manifesting is connection, not commitment. How do I know that? Because I took the time to ask, well, why don't I have X, Y, and Z? Why does this continue to occur? Let's talk about patterns. Old folks say patterns. Why does this continue to occur? And you can fill in the blank on whatever your this is. If you feel like there's a pattern of this in your life, then why does this keep occurring? If you ask the questions, you're destined to get the answer. But if you just continue to act like this is your norm when you don't want it to be, then you will normalize what is not meant to be normalized. I need you to denormalize and decenter the pattern from your life. Oh, folks say pattern. So what does that mean? That means asking the questions, right? Patterns, exactly. That means asking real questions of yourself and stop giving yourself those crazy answers that make you seem like you're just so amazing. Listen, it is okay if you screwed up. It is okay if you made wrong decisions. It is okay if you thought people were one thing and they were another. Listen, I have been guilty in my crew, in my inside, my inner ring. I am notorious for bringing the crap friends. Anytime I start to hang out with somebody new, the people who have been in my life for years are like, oh, Lord, here she go bringing home strays. Oh, my God. Ugh. Gotcha. And over time, I have made I had made the conscious decision. I was not unconsciously making these decisions. I made the conscious decision that, you know what? I like a lot of different type of people. But what I had to start to understand is that a lot of different type of people don't like me. And as I become even more diligent about whom I share time and space with, it becomes very important to me that we share values. Lynette and I share values. I don't know whoever else is watching. You and I probably share values, because why are you sitting here listening to me unless you have some sort of mental illness and you just want to look at me and be like, oh, I can't stand that B. Well, again, they make these things called therapists and psychiatrists. Might I suggest that you become one with them? Okay, great. So nevertheless, if you're watching this, then we more than likely share values, right? We share values. And so something that's important to me is that the people in my life actually care about themselves. Not in the Tony Childs type of way, that's self-centeredness, but in the, what I want and deserve and desire, it actually is important. And wait for this, it's more important than what other people want from me. And I get to decide how to prioritize the obligations and the responsibilities in my life. So a value I don't share with people is martyrdom. If you love to martyr yourself and you like to be the one crawling up on the cross for everybody and sacrificing yourself, if you love to engage in self-sacrifice, our values aren't aligned. They're not. Because while you sitting up there crawling on the cross that as far as I know, only one person crawled up on, and even though that's still out for debate in some circles, depending on where you sit, at the end of the day, I know I ain't never seen a cross with you on it. So if you love the idea of crawling up on the cross and martyring yourself, then what that tells me is that at some point we are diametrically opposed. And you more than likely shouldn't be in my inner circle, because my inner circle should be a reflection of who I am, not who I was, because I can relate to being addicted to external validation. I am a recovering codependent. I am recovering people pleaser. All people pleasing is codependent, but all codependency is not people pleasing. We could have a whole conversation about that. And so even in my work with founders and with my clients, I always have to be mindful of, okay, how I'm coming across and how I'm dealing with people and the energy that I'm taking in. Like it's a real thing. So how to get right within? If first thing first, notice the pattern. If there's a pattern in your life you don't like, just call it out and ask why. And don't ask anybody else. Ask yourself, why? Why, Stephanie? Why, Tanya? Why, Katie? Why, Mark? Why, John? Why, Alex? Why? Ask yourself. Like if I'm asking me, I'm saying, why, Stephanie? One of the biggest mistakes I feel like we make sometimes is that in our most vulnerable positions, we go to other people. And there's a time and a place for that. But sometimes when you're seeking, right? When you're seeking answers, I can be the first one to tell you that as a coach, it is our work to ask you questions that allow you to go within. How you gonna win if you ain't right within? So to get right within, I can't go without, this is within, outside of you is without, as above, so below, as within, so without. So how you gonna win if you ain't right within? If I need to get right within, then I need to go within. I can't get right without within. Y'all let me know if that's making sense. So I need to be willing to ask myself questions and get the answers. And then when I get the answers that I don't like, don't act as if I didn't get that answer. And expect an answer. How about that part? See, a lot of things that we do, yes, they're often tethered back to realities and experiences that we may not even be cognizant of. But once we become cognizant of it, right, you know better, you do better. That's just the reality of the situation. And so in my case, I have to do better. I have to do better in speaking and bringing forth and aligning with what I actually want in my life. Doesn't mean I don't love my life, because I do. Doesn't mean I'm not successful in many circles, because I am. That's fine. Again, dialectically speaking, two things can be true at the same time. So if there's something that you want and you say, I don't have that, and you want that, but you see a pattern of not having that, so ask the pattern. Why? Now, I'm warning you, when you start asking these questions, you start getting these answers, it might feel a little heavy. And so if it starts to feel super heavy, if you figure out that the origins are like childhood or something you witnessed or somebody that you're close to, if the origins start to feel heavy, then I'm going to say go external. But I'm not going to say go to your bestie, your boo thing, whatever. I'm going to say make an appointment. I sat on many couches to get this way. I will always advocate for therapy. I will always advocate for coaching. I will always advocate for talking to people who are unbiased and can give you an unbiased perspective on your life. The rule of thumb usually is that therapy deals with the past and the present. Coaching deals with the present and the future. That's usually the rule of thumb. A good therapist is going to look at the origins of the behaviors that you are dealing with in the present. Lately, I've seen way too many therapists that want to play life coach, and that really pisses me off. I got the life coach piece on lock. Yes, I do still do that. every last one of our clients, I don't care. If you're here for brand, you're going to get coached. You're here for business, you're going to get coached. Here for marketing, you're going to get coached. I spend more time pulling my clients off proverbial ledges than I spend doing anything else. Then I spend writing strategies, implementing strategies, doing graphic design work, augmenting their socials, developing products, because we actually do stuff. I know there's a lot of people say, oh, I'm a coach. No, we actually do stuff. We actually create stuff. We actually have deliverables. So it's not just, oh, well, yeah, we just talk and whatever. Yes. Do I have clients that I coach and that's it? Sure, I do. Do I have clients that I walk through their stuff? Sure, I do. Do we have clients that we actually go end to end from ideation to implementation? We sure we do. We actually do stuff. And I know that's a rare thing, and I just want to put that out there, but I digress. If the origins feel heavy, then get assistance. And then once you get that assistance and you're able to get a handle on what's going on and how you want to change your outlook, your perspective, your positioning, then you might be able to have casual conversations with the people in your life about what you're going through and what you're changing and what you've been through and your thought processes and blah, 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 blah. But in order to get right within, we've got to go within. There is no going without to get right within. That's not how that works. Have a conversation with yourself. And sometimes, because as somebody who can self-coach like a champ, which is me, I can do that now because I sat on those couches. But sometimes you can just do it yourself because you have a deeper knowledge. And so when you start asking those questions, you start getting those answers and you take that thing forward. It may not be deep. It may not have to go back to when you were 5 and so and so and so and so. But for some of you all, it will. Some of you all, it will. But nevertheless, hopefully something I said is helpful. We've got a lot of things coming up before the end of 2025. I want to invite you to my next masterclass. It's free. It's December the 18th. Don't ask me what it's going to be about. I actually do know, but I'm going to reveal that. So if you want to know about the masterclass, put masterclass in the comments and I'll make sure that you get the details. Of course, if I can serve and support you in any way, I'm happy to do so. Our brand strategy certificate is $37 right now. You should probably get it. You can go run on over to thestephstore.com or look for our ads on Facebook. But again, today's How To Tuesday was how to get right within. And in the words of the philosopher Lauryn Hill, how you gonna win if you ain't right within? Hey, winning is subjective. And so can you win when you're not right within? Absolutely. But we don't want those wins. We want beautiful wins, long-standing wins, wins without sorrow, wins that we can hold on to. We don't want fleeting wins. And we want to win everywhere. So again, my name is Stephanie D. McKenzie, and I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, loving, learning, doing all the things. And again, if I can serve and support you in any way, I'm happy to do so. Check out thestephstore.com, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Have you been on a weight loss journey and the scale just isn't giving you the results you hoped for? Well, meet Thinner, an FDA-registered, all-natural, homeopathic approach that addresses the root causes of how to lose weight and keep it off, especially if hormones are an issue. If you're tired of all of the guesswork and doing it alone, scan the QR code for more info, and let's get you started today.